All right, First Peter 4 and verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Kohala Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, peace and infinite salutations to the elect that are scattered abroad doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Abal Gabar from the branch of Great Millstone, Tampa, coming at you with news and prophecy, going into some of these end time headlines, current events, and as always, linking it through the Holy Bible. All right, and there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of prophecies getting ready to take place, be fulfilled. We're definitely living in the last days. All right, so as the scripture I opened up with, now's the time to be sober-minded, being locked in the spirit, continue to watch as well as pray, as the scriptures say, and get ready for these prophecies to take place. All right, so I got these end time headlines pulled up. I got some videos pulled up. And, as always, we're just going to flow through the spirit, Lord willing, edifying to the hopeful elect. All right, so I'm going to read some of these headlines, okay? So this first one, it says, troops from Europe are being deployed to Greenland in rapid 2-day mission as Trump eyes U.S. takeover. So you have, this guy, Donald Trump, talking about, taking over Greenland, all right, which is, part of Denmark. And what we're about to see is the end of NATO, all right? Which we've been telling you that this was going to happen, that the NATO alliance was going to come to an end, and these NATO nations, EU nations, were ultimately going to end up shooting nuclear missiles at America. This is the judgment that's coming to America, which is labeled as Mystery Babylon the Great in the scriptures, man. All right? And a lot is happening in a fast pace. I mean, what's today's date? Yeah, we're 2 weeks and some change. 2 weeks and a few days into 2026. And I mean, so much is happening concerning prophecy. All right, so now is the time to really lock in the spirit and get closer to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and continue to watch. All right, so let me go ahead and play this video real quick. All right, Donald Trump. Go ahead, flip the camera, play this. Okay.
Have Russia there. We don't want to have China there. And by the way, we don't want Russia or China going to Greenland, which if we don't take Greenland, you're going to have Russia or China as your next door neighbor. That's not going to happen.
How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not. Because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay?
All right, so this devil's deadly serious about taking Greenland, which that's what we're looking out for in the near future, which, how this Esau, the so-called white man, especially this guy Trump, proud as hell. Him taking Greenland is going to cause the end of NATO, which NATO was, formed to protect, these nations against Russia. But what's going to happen is all these nations are going to start siding with Russia because they're seeing the hypocrisy and the wickedness of this man, Esau Edom. And this devil's going to bring the end, and I say that through the spirit. But this is what's happening in life, all right? The end of all things is at hand. Judgment Day is fastly approaching. We're closer to nuclear war than we've ever been, all right? People are confused. Gross darkness covers the people. Wickedness is at an all-time high. So it's only going to get worse. What we're witnessing is those birth pains in the book of 2nd Esdras, okay? Before Yahweh Shai comes back, he said he would send, different plagues and different signs that we would know that we're at the end. If you can't see that we're at the end, It's because you've been blinded by the Heavenly Father. The Lord ain't dealing with you. It's clear we're at the end. With all the prophecies and the technology we have today, it's clear we're at the end. The talks of nuclear war, which can create the lake of fire, I mean, we're at the end, all right?
I would like to make a deal, you know, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. And by the way, I'm a fan of Denmark too. I have to tell you, and you know, they've been very nice to me. I'm a big fan, but you know, the fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land. I'm sure we had lots of boats go there also, but we need that, because if you take a look outside of Greenland right now, there are Russian destroyers, there are Chinese destroyers and bigger, there are Russian submarines all over the place. We're not going to have Russia or China occupy Greenland, and that's what they're going to do if we don't. So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way.
Yeah, and he's getting ready to, you know, take military action. That's what's getting ready to take place. This devil's getting ready to take military action towards Greenland, or they make up some type of deal, whatever. But what's going to happen is we're seeing the beginning stages of, in the book of Revelations, it tells you that the beast shall hate the whore. And actually, I'm going to go there real quick, okay? All right. This is Revelation 17 and Revelation 17 and 3, it says, "So he carried me away into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns." And this is a vision that John the Revelator got. Okay, and the vision is of America. The woman represents America, also known as Mystery Babylon the Great. The beast represents NATO and the EU. All right. It says, "And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones," going into this place, America, "having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication." And that's why you see America promote all this wickedness, you know, promote democracy, promote fornication, idolatry, adultery, you know. And this woman is sitting on top of the world right now, and it's riding the beast. The beast represents NATO and the EU. Okay. It says, "And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth." That's this place, America. This place is labeled as Mystery Babylon the Great. And what we are seeing is a heavy decline in the Babylonian, you know, hegemony. The Babylonian rulership is coming to an end, which 2026, this year is going to mark the 250th year anniversary that America has been, you know, a kingdom, okay, established. Which the average lifespan of a kingdom, of an empire, is 250 years. So this place is going downhill. All right. It says, "And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints." The saints represent the Israelites, because you had all the slaughtering, you know, slavery that happened here. That's the blood of the saints. America, you know, the home of the slave. Land of the freaks and home of the slave. It says, "And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration." Or admiration, right? It says, now jumping down, Revelation 17 and 16, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore," going into these different NATO nations. Okay, "and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High has put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city," which is America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And what nation is on the top of the world right now? The great city, the woman, which is Mystery Babylon the Great, also known as America. But see, now we're starting to see the 10 horns, the beast, is going to hate the whore, is going to hate the woman. These NATO and EU nations are going to end up shooting nuclear missiles at America. This is Bible prophecy. And now we're seeing this Bible prophecy play out before our very eyes. The split up of NATO. We're hoping this guy does this. We're waiting for him to invade Greenland, because that's going to bring an end to NATO. Okay? The NATO alliance, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, it's going to come to an end, man. All right? So let me play a little bit more.
Please, go ahead, ma'am.
Mr. President, why is it so important to you to own it when you have a military presence there, which you could expand to affect the security?
Because when we own it, we defend it. You don't defend leases the same way. You have to own it. And, with a nation, look at what happened with Obama, with that horrible deal they made with Iran. It was a short-term deal. It was like a 9-year deal. Countries can't make 9-year deals or even 100-year deals. Countries have to have ownership. And you defend ownership, you don't defend leases. And we'll have to defend Greenland. If we don't do it, China or Russia will. It's not going to happen. We are not going to have, and I like China, I like Russia, I love the people of China, I love the people of Russia. I get along very well with President Putin, but I'm very disappointed in him. I get along very well with President Xi. I'm going to go over to China in April, but I don't want them as a neighbor in Greenland. Not going to happen. And by the way, and NATO's got to understand that. I'm all for NATO. I saved NATO. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have a NATO right now.
Yeah, because America is pretty much spearheading the NATO alliance. The unofficial head of NATO is America. Okay? And with America going in and invading Greenland, that's going to bring an end to the NATO alliance. And these different NATO nations, they're going to be siding with Russia. Okay? Because really what this is all about, everything that's happening is to get total control over the planet Earth. This devil wants to bring in the New World Order. He wants to get everybody microchipped. He wants everybody under one world government, one world currency. It's nothing new. But now he knows, as the scriptures say, he knows that he had but a short time. So he's going to come down with great wrath. So Esau, his time is running out. He's backed into a corner. Prophecy is being fulfilled. So he's what the Most High is doing. He's putting a spirit on this guy to be this bold fellow, man. Okay. So let me go. What was I gonna get? Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah, because what this is all gonna lead to in the very near future is a total nuclear war. Okay. World War III is in the Bible. There's no escaping it. And we know exactly what's going to happen. We have the ins and out via prophecy. We know that the NATO alliance is, these NATO nations, EU nations, certain nations are going to be shooting missiles over here. All right. We know that there's going to be a mandatory microchip. As we speak, they're rolling out the digital world. It's already here. The digital world is really here. It's only a matter of time before they bring out the microchip. So we're down to the last few prophecies. That microchip is a key indicator that we are months, days away from this place being destroyed. All right? We see all the signs. And before I get Jeremiah 50, let me go to 2 Ezra 9. Okay? Because this is how we know that we're at the end. Because we have the Spirit. First and foremost, we have the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord blessed us with the Holy Spirit to see these things, to have the vision, to be able to read the scriptures and link it with what's happening in life today, man. And that's only given to the prophets, which are back on earth again. But 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1, it says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself." And how do you measure the times? You measure the times with the Bible. This is our measuring tool, the scriptures, to see where we're at in prophecy, what things have already happened. And that's why you got to know a little bit of history. You got to know about 70 AD. You got to know about, you know, the different empires, the Assyrians, Babylonians, the Grecians, the Romans, you know, the Persians, the Medes. You got to know about all of this stuff. Okay. Because it all ties in with prophecy. So if you measure in the times, you seeing the digital world being rolled out. You see the brain chips, okay? Elon Musk, Neuralink planning mass rollout of brain chips. Why is this? You know, you got to talk about this stuff. Knowledge shall increase. So we see Revelation 13. He causeth all to receive a mark in their hand or their forehead, their brain. This is all part of the prophecies for being fulfilled, coming to pass. All right. I'll play this video next. But it says, 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And that's what's happening. The Lord is visiting this earth, man. And he's visiting the earth with plagues, with division, with destruction. And this is just reality, man. You know, people say, oh, you guys are just trying to push fear and fear mongers and hate. I mean, look outside your window. This is stuff that's happening in real life. The problem with the everyday people is they've been blinded, man. You know, we're just telling you the truth. This is nothing but the truth, man. Verse 3, 2 Ezra 9:3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. I mean, the whole world is in uproars. Different, you see what's going on in Iran right now. Protests. You got America, this guy Trump talking about sending, you know, striking Iran soon too. Which that's part of prophecy as well. Because we know that the scriptures tell you that the least of the flock shall draw them out. Ultimately, the Israelis, you know, the state of Israel is going to lead America into World War III. Okay? And we're witnessing this stuff happening before our very eyes. All right, it says, then shalt thou well understand. All right, so this is the signs right here. This is the measurement. When you shall see earthquakes, when you see uproars, then shall you understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right, remember the scriptures say that the Most High declared the end from the beginning. So now, which everything's already been done, bro. Everything's written in the scriptures. Everything's finished. Now we're just watching the prophecies play out in real life. Okay? And there's no escaping prophecy. Everything that we are saying is going to happen. All right? This place, America, will be hit with thermonuclear missiles, man. This place, America, is going to be turned into a desert very soon. And before that happens, this place is on a harsh decline. It's going downhill. America is spiraling out of control at this point, man. Verse 5, 2 Ezra 9:5. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So we see the end being made manifest now, man. It's plain that we're at the end. The end of America is at hand. Judgment Day is at hand. The end of captivity, man. Of us being in slavery, us being at the bottom. The Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites. Yahweh Shai is coming back to deliver us. And it starts with the elect, the repented Israelites. All right? But, you know, as all this stuff is happening, what you see with Greenland, right? And Russia, you know, Putin is an Edomite. All right? Trump, Edomites. Greenland, Denmark, these are Edomites, man. These EU nations, right? But what did Yahweh Shai say? Okay. This is Matthew 12:25. And Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought into desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So we see this kingdom, America, completely divided. Religiously it's divided, politically it's divided, monetarily it's divided, it's split up into, different classes. You're either rich, or at one time you had the upper class, the middle class, the lower class. Now you just have the rich and the poor. But everything is divided. And Yahweh Shai told us every kingdom that's divided against itself is going to be brought to desolation. That's what we're witnessing. All right. And it's you dummies out here that, think that America is going to last forever. And this ain't going, not in my lifetime. And it's happening before your very eyes. In your lifetime. It's happening right now. As you fix your mouth to say some stupid shit like, oh, not in my lifetime, it's literally playing out in front of your face. Okay? And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Esau versus Esau. That's what we see. All right, so let me play this too, okay? Because you got this guy Trump talking about the Insurrection Act. Let me play this real quick.
The Trump administration is reportedly looking for contractors to turn warehouses into mass immigration detention centers.
Did you hear that? Remember, the scriptures say they shall cast some of you into prison. So they're making these different warehouses into prisons, FEMA camps, detention centers, whatever you want to call them, holding centers. And now you see that the whole ICE thing, yeah, it's about these immigrants, right? That's what they say. But now you see different U.S. citizens getting snatched up, getting killed. So there's a bigger picture behind all of this. And the bigger picture is the NWO. Total control over the population, bringing in the one world government. And anybody who does not want to get in line with that one world government, you're going to be outcasted. You're going to be cast into prison. You're going to be persecuted. You're going to be hated. Your social credit score is going to be brought down low. All right, so let's listen to that again real quick. And I'm going to grab that scripture I quoted in the book of Revelations, all right?
The Trump administration is reportedly looking for contractors to turn warehouses into mass immigration detention centers. And one of these potential facilities is in Michigan. The Washington Post reported that the federal government could renovate warehouses to hold more than 80,000 detainees throughout the country. This would more than double the current capacity. The draft solicitation reviewed by the newspaper showed plans to purchase 7 large-scale warehouses and 16 smaller ones. The large ones could hold between 5,000 and 10,000 beds, making them the biggest detention centers in the country. A smaller one was listed in Highland Park, a city that's just north of Detroit, and it could hold between 500 and 1,500 immigrants. The Washington Post said these plans are not final, though, and they could change. Michigan politicians also haven't been able to confirm the report. State Senator Stephanie Chang, a Democrat from Detroit, said that she does not have any evidence of concrete plans for an ICE detention center in Highland Park, but she's still looking into it. Chang also said one potential site is not zoned for an ICE facility. There are currently 5 detention centers in Michigan, including 4 local jails that have ICE contracts. And there's a privately owned facility that opened in northern Michigan last summer with 1,800 beds. It's current.
Look at this. They got FEMA camps set up already. That's why they're buying these different detention centers and warehouses, and they're turning them into prisons because they're getting ready to change the world. The world as you know it is about to change overnight. They're going to roll out this microchip, and anybody who does not want to get in line with their New World Order, they got these different detention centers, prisons, set up. Because the new right now, you got if you got a green card, You got a driver's license, right? That's how you, like if you get pulled over by ICE, right? They want to identify you. So they want to see your ID. And how they do that, they look at your driver's license, passport, whatever. They look at your status. Well, the new form of identification is going to be that microchip. And if you don't take it, you're going to be an enemy of the state. This is the time we're entering into. Okay? There's no way around prophecy. But for us brothers and sisters of the faith, the Lord is going to protect us. We're going to be all right. All right? We know that how this thing going to end. It's ultimately going to end with Yahweh Shai coming back and delivering the elect. We're going to get the hell up out of here very, very soon.
Currently nearing capacity with more than 1,300 immigrants. The vast majority of those don't have criminal convictions.
Is about to invoke the Insurrection Act.
Which the Insurrection Act is nothing more than martial law. Okay, but real quick, let me grab this before he goes into this. This is Revelation 2 and verse 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. So we have to be prepared to suffer in the near future. You know, we're going to be watching this happen in the world. And we're going to be in tight situations too. Us men, believers, and, you know, we're going to be tested. Put it like that. All right. The Lord's going to be with us. We're going to be all right. Yahweh Shai is going to protect us and guide us. We have full faith in that. But we are going to be put in situations. Okay. Certain brothers might be cast into these FEMA camps. Certain brothers and sisters and children might be, you know, caught up. But the Lord is going to deliver us. We have to remember that. Okay. It's all part of prophecy playing out. Scripture says it shall be turned unto you for a testimony. You know. But it says Revelation 2 and 10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. So this is a warning. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And we just saw that they're making all these FEMA camps or detention centers that can fit, you know, tens of thousands of people. Why are they doing that? Because they're getting ready to roll this new system out. Okay? We here. We living in the future. Okay? It says, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Who's the devil? That's going into this so-called white man. You know, via these troops, FEMA troops, ICE agents. They're going to cast certain brothers into prison that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days, which is a complete amount of, it's not just going to be 10 days. 10 just means completion. So you could be in there for 4 days, 10 days, 20 days, a month, 2 months. But the point is what? Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we're going to have to be faithful unto death. Understanding that our life is on the line. Okay? So let me let this play.
Is not zoned for an ICE facility. There are currently 5 detention centers in Michigan, including 4 local jails that have ICE contracts. And there's a privately owned facility that opened in northern Michigan last summer with 1,800 beds. It's currently nearing capacity with more than 1,300 immigrants. The vast majority of those don't have criminal convictions.
Is about to invoke the Insurrection Act. He just said this on national television, okay? The Insurrection Act has not been invoked since 1992 during the Rodney King riots, when the city of Los Angeles needed help from the federal government because they lost control of the rioters. Okay, Trump has fabricated these so-called extremist situations in cities like Portland, Chicago, Los Angeles, Memphis, Baltimore, etc., for the purpose to leading to the path of declaring martial law. The Insurrection Act basically allows him to bypass any judge's decision that says he's exaggerating, he cannot put troops on the street. Judges are blocking him all over the country. You've probably seen this. Well, he can invoke the Insurrection Act, which allows him to bypass all of these judges' decisions. One man in the United States can invoke the Insurrection Act. That's the President of the United States. It's designed for real emergencies. He has fabricated this entire situation for the purpose of putting the military in the streets of every democratic city in the country. So when the midterm elections come around, In November 2026, people will be terrified. They will be paralyzed to leave their homes, and even more frightened of voting against this wannabe dictator. MAGA, freedom-loving Americans all across the country. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or anything else. Please wake up. We are just a few short months from losing our democracy, from losing our freedom, once he declares martial law. If you think I'm exaggerating, look this up for yourself. Once he declares martial law, you won't be able to leave your neighborhood.
Right. And you thought 2020 was bad. You thought COVID, the COVID era, the pandemic, you thought that was bad. That is nothing compared to what's about to happen. That's what's about to happen. And actually, let's go to that. Second Ezra's, what he just said is prophecy. This is what's going to happen. Second Ezra's chapter 15 and verse... Second Ezra's 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. There's going to be a lot of death and destruction coming in the near future. All right. As this place crumbles and, there's going to be less food, rent is going to be skyrocketing. The dollar's value is going to go down. They're going to implement this microchip. People are already losing patience. People already don't have enough. So people are going to be killing each other in these streets soon. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draws nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is the guns. So destruction is near. Okay? This devil, he's going to pull this insurrection act. He's going to declare martial law, and they are going to force people to take the chip. All right? Now, they ain't going to hold you down and put it in you, but they're going to pretty much, your only option to be able to buy food or to pay your bills, you're going to have the chip to pay for all this stuff. All right? It says, verse 16, 2 Ezra 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. We see that now with these different riots and protests. Sedition, people uprising against the government. But we're coming into the time people are going to be breaking into houses, to feed their families, killing each other. All right? It says, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. What's that? That's those military checkpoints. You're going to desire, I want to go to this city. I want to, I'm going to go travel. Nope. You're going to have military checkpoints. Let's listen to that again.
Or anything else. Please wake up. We are just a few short months from losing our democracy, from losing our freedom, once he declares martial law. If you think I'm exaggerating, look this up for yourself. Once he declares martial law, you won't be able to leave your neighborhood without permission from the United States military.
There you go. Military. A total police state. It's not going to be your local police officer out here. It's going to be military soldiers in these streets very, very soon. Martial law is about to be declared, man. Okay? 2 Ezra 15 and verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. This is what we're about to witness. Okay? Total civil unrest, total civil war. All right? A very evil, bad time is what we're entering into. And the only ones that are going to have faith and be protected is the men of the Lord. the ones that have sacrificed their lives to serve Yahweh Shemi Shai. The Lord is going to be with us, man. We believe that.
There'll be curfews all across the country. You won't be able to go out of your home after a certain time. You won't be able to do anything unless Trump says it's okay. Is that how you want to live? You want to live in that country? I know I don't. It's time to stand up and push back before it's too late.
The Trump administration.
Huh? All right. So we here. And this is hold on. This is what it comes back to. This is the inner. I always play this. We always got to bring this back up. Alex Jones and Aaron Russo, right? This is Aaron Russo. He was good friends with one of the Rockefellers, and I believe it was David Rockefeller. I forgot who it was, but he was a close friend with one of the Rockefellers, and the Rockefellers are one of the elite families. And he told Aaron Russo, the Rockefeller told Aaron Russo what their plan was, and he's going to explain it right now. We always bring this out.
World government run by the bank, one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip, and you have nothing.
Yeah, and now we're to the point where they can kill you. They can have this microchip kill you. But what is this, man? This is Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all. He going into this devil, the so-called white man, starting with their elites, the bankers that rule the earth, all right? The ones who own all the oil, the ones who own all the money, the ones who fund all the wars, right? I mean, these people own the monetary system. They own the banks. They're hundreds of they're trillionaires, multi-trillionaires, okay? And they're the ones who rule the earth. And they're, what are they? They're so-called white people. The devil the Bible speaks of. And they have an agenda. And their agenda is to get everybody chipped. Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Going back to Neuralink, Elon Musk, Neuralink planning mass rollout of brain chips 2026. I mean, come on. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell. Total control. If you live in society, especially here in America, but all over the world, if you want to make money, you got to work and you get paid in money, but you're not going to be able to buy or sell anything without this chip, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 threescore and six. And we know this dude loves the number 6, right? Which we're in 2026. He's talking also about 6G. Okay, we were at 5G, now he wants 6G. So we see the number of the beast speaking as well, man. All right, so this is total control over the population. We see what's happening. Now let me go back to this real quick. Let's see some more of these headlines. Okay, yep, right here, look at this. Trump is threatening to use the Insurrection Act, also known as martial law, to end protests in Minneapolis. All right, so get ready for martial law. This is happening before our very eyes. All right, and guess what? People don't like you know. People say, "Oh, you guys think you're always right. You think you're always right." Guess what? The Lord's gonna make it known that we was always right, and it's not us. It's the Lord that was right. It's bigger than us. We're just messengers. We're just telling you what the Lord's plan is. What we're telling you is Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, the Lord is right, man. God is right. The Bible is right. Okay? Let's read this. Nearly 5 million accounts have been removed under Australia's new social media ban. Famine of hearing the word. All right? They're going to shut this social media down soon. That's another thing that's going to happen. Illegal migrant shot after attacking ICE agent with shovel while evading arrest in Minnesota. Yeah, so this ICE shit is heating up too. There's a lot of videos of the ICE, you know, pepper spraying, shooting, crazy shit. Developing Pentagon moving carrier strike group towards Middle East and amid Iran tension. Trump announces he's been told executions in Iran have ended. Over 12,000 feared dead in Iran. Video shows bodies lined up at morgue. All right, so this shit is going down. We saw what happened with Maduro, Venezuela. You know, U.S. military strike on Iran is imminent. Could happen within the next 24 hours, which Donald Trump postponed this. But this is all coming. All right. And, you know, Yahweh Shai said it best in Matthew 24, man. There should be wars and rumors of wars. These are all signs of the end, okay? So, yeah, hey, so with that, hey, call hello, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. You know, I'm just going to, yeah, you got to read Jeremiah chapter 50. Read Jeremiah chapter 51. Read 2nd Ezra chapter 15, chapter 16. Read Jeremiah chapter 30. Revelation chapter 13, Revelation chapter 2, Revelation chapter 17. All these scriptures is about to be fulfilled, man. Okay? So, with that, hey, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. This is just another news and prophecy update. Lord willing, edifying to the hopeful elect. Continue to fight the good fight of faith. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Until next time I say, Shalom.